guys? It's Gary Vaynerchuk, and you're listening to the Front Row Entrepreneur Podcast with our girl, Jen.
Hey, you're listening to the Front Row Entrepreneur Podcast, episode number 14. I really can't wait for you to learn from our next guest, Laura Ball. A couple of years ago, she attended my annual virtual online social media summer camp as a camper. And today she is one of the leading experts on Facebook advertising. And I am thrilled to announce that she will be our Facebook ads camp counselor this year at Social Media Summer Camp. And you can get more information about that at campwithjen.com. Hey, Laura, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Jen.
Okay, so let's just jump right into Facebook ads. Why do you love Facebook ads so much?
Oh my gosh. So I have a love-hate relationship, I think, with Facebook ads. I do love them. You know why? Because they're super, super powerful for business owners. You know, I used to work in advertising, and I used to put ads in newspapers. And, you know, you never know who was going to read the newspaper article. You never knew if anybody was coming in the door to buy your product or service. But with Facebook ads, I can show my ad to the perfect person. So if I have a client who comes to me and says they want to target women, Christian women who are like yoga, who live in San Francisco, I can build an ad and I can run it to those specific people. So I think the most powerful tool, the most powerful aspect of Facebook ads is that it's so targetable. You can really show your ad to the right person. And it's the most cost effective. I mean, I would run ads for newspapers and it would cost me, you know, $500, $1,000. But with Facebook ads, you can start low. You can start with $10 a day and test and get data back. And it tells you so much information. So I can go on, but I think targeting is probably one of the most exciting things for me.
Well, ever since algorithm apocalypse, everybody on Facebook is reporting, you know, that their Facebook pages are dead, but honestly, they were really kind of dead anyway. Have you noticed any kind of weirdness or drop off in ads since they made the big announcement and the whole Cambridge Analytica stuff?
No, not at all. You know what? I think the people who are so private and hypersensitive to their privacy are the ones that are leaving Facebook. And my philosophy is, bye, because, you know, they're really not understanding social media for marketing. When you put your content out there and you have a Facebook business page, you're giving Facebook that permission to add, you know, to promote your business. That's the whole point. It's marketing. So I haven't seen a decline. I've actually, you know, we've seen more of an increase in ads because with organic reach being low, their posts are not being seen. So it's forcing them a little bit to put some money behind their advertising budget and spend some money on ads. And again, you know, when I talk to a business owner, you know, I tend to attract, you know, people who, you know, maybe are just starting out and they're looking for advice. And I say to them, you know, you really do have to have a budget for Facebook advertising. It's not just because we have a Facebook business page. Facebook doesn't owe us anything to promote us. We have to invest in our business and we have to put some money behind these ads if we want to be seen. So no, I think it's been good for advertising because it's pushing people to now hire ads managers or learn it themselves.
Yeah. And I think, you know, when we give that advice of, okay, you know, you really need to set aside a Facebook ads budget, and people aren't really familiar with Facebook ads. They're very dubious and resistant a lot of times and scared, you know, like what if I put money in it and it doesn't work? And I'm just thinking of something that happened yesterday with one of my nonprofit clients. It was really, really tough to convince them to go down the Facebook ads route. And they gave a minuscule amount of their, you know, tiny budget anyway. Mm-hmm. It was about $300, I want to say, for their total Facebook ad spend for a very big event that they were having. And we got the results yesterday. They spent $218 actually on Facebook ads, and they had 20 conversions, with each conversion being worth $150. 20.
Wow.
So now they're convinced,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're convinced, but all too often people will start off down the Facebook ads road and they'll bomb, right? And then they're like, I'm never doing this again. I just wasted a whole bunch of money. What is your advice to people who are just starting out with Facebook ads and like they don't know where to begin?
Yeah. So I would, if they're working on a limited budget, I would really try to invest in some free education on Facebook ads. Learn a little bit about it, enough to be able to maybe reach out to somebody who's learning Facebook ads, who wants to build an agency that will probably charge a little bit less, or maybe do it for free and help you out in exchange for a testimonial or a case study. But if they do want to outsource it and they do want to kind of put, dip their toes in the water, they need to invest. I'm now requiring at least a minimum of $1,000 a month. But when people are just starting out, try $300 a month for Facebook ads. Learn. If they don't want to hire someone and they can't find somebody to do it on a, kind of like a testimonial basis for free or a trial period, learn a little bit about, take a basic Facebook ads course. There's tons of free content out there, and invest about $300 to do some testing. I always say that there is no failed campaign. If they have the basics and they're running ads with a little bit of a strategy behind, so they know the difference between boosting a post and running a conversion ad, that's where they're wasting their money. But if they know the basics of Facebook ads, put a couple $100s to it and let Facebook give you data back, because you might not get the exact results you want right away, but you're gaining intel and you're learning more about who is responding to your ads and who isn't responding to your ads. And that helps you hone in on your ideal avatar. If you don't try it, you're never going to know. And I know it's scary to invest money in something where it's kind of like throwing spaghetti to a wall and seeing what sticks. But if you don't do it, you're never going to know. And they can truly be very powerful the more and more you do it. But it requires practice. It really does. I've been doing this for a few years, and I'm still learning all new things and how to target and other tricks to try to get my ads seen. It's a big combination of targeting and your image and your ad copy. There's so many different elements. So knowing the basics, and don't go in blind, because you can waste a lot of money. If you know the basics, you grab a mini course or a blog post or some kind of free content to learn a little bit more about Facebook ads, you'll be starting off a little bit better. So that's probably what I would recommend.
Yeah. And I really love what you said about there are no failed campaigns, because at the bare minimum, you're going to get a little practice. But on top of that, you're definitely going to get some data that's going to help you the next time you go in. So
right.
I love that. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about boosted posts. So I actually have always told people, like, don't boost a post. Like, there's so many better, there's so much of a better way to do things. But the other day I looked at a boosted post and I'm like, wait, like, you can pretty much do all the things, not all the things, but you could do a lot right here from the boosted post in terms of targeting. What do you say? What is your answer to people when they ask about boosted posts?
I felt the same way. About a year ago, I felt the same way about boosted posts because it was very limited. It didn't provide a lot of opportunities to target and things like that. It's getting a lot better, but I still feel that if you're boosting posts, don't just boost them willy-nilly, because that is not a strategy. Pressing that little blue button is not going to do anything for you if you're looking for somebody to opt into a freebie or to, get to your sales page. You have to have a full strategy before diving into Facebook ads. So think about your end, result. What goals do you want? Because if you have a great post on your Facebook page and it's talking about, opting in for your freebie and you boost it, you're going to show it to people who are likely to engage in that post, but not necessarily people who are going to convert, because that's what Facebook has designed that ad objective for. Engagement is to get likes, clicks, shares, comments, reactions. And when you want somebody to take action and actually hand over their name and email, you want to run a conversion ad, because that's going to show it within your audience. It's going to show it to the people who are likely to do that. It knows a lot about me. It knows a lot. It knows it likes that I like funny cat videos and puppies and kittens and things like that. So Facebook knows a lot about me. It knows what I do. And whether we like that or not, it's a fact. If you're on Facebook, it is, kind of keeping tabs on what you do. And that helps the algorithm. So within your audience that you build, it's going to cherry pick the people who are going to opt in. So when it comes to boosting, I don't have a problem with it as much anymore, because yes, you can get lots of social proof on it. You can get eyeballs on it. And if that's the goal, then go to town. But you can do it inside Ads Manager as well. You don't have to just press that boost button. You can go into Ads Manager, pull that ad in, and that post in, and run it through Ads Manager. And it just allows you to get a little bit more, data back and kind of track it a little bit better. So,
because we don't get any pixel action when we boost, right?
Yeah, it's just engagement. So you're getting information back on who liked it and who shared it and who, commented on it and things like that. You're getting more data on reach and who, kind of how big the audience was that saw it and things like that.
Laura, for our listeners who are really, newbies at Facebook advertising and don't know a lot about it, can you talk a little bit about what retargeting is and some of the fantastic features or possibilities that are available to us with retargeting and the pixel and that stuff?
Yeah. So the Facebook pixel is, I'll kind of break it down. It's just code. It's HTML code that you put onto your website and landing pages, and it will track the people who visit that page. And it puts them, I like to say, little buckets. It puts them in little buckets. And inside Facebook, you can create lots of buckets. So you can create people, an audience of people who land on a specific blog post or watch a video on your website. So the beauty about that is that you're sending traffic to your website. It's collecting the data. And I think now people have to see something 7 times before they take an action on it. So the beauty of retargeting is that when you're sending them there, you're capturing them and you're able to run another ad to those people who clicked on that first ad. So you're retargeting them. You're showing them another ad to remind them, hey, you checked out my blog post. Do you want to opt in for my freebie? So the beauty of retargeting, again, and it goes back to having a strategy, is if you're brand new, you want to probably focus on getting some awareness about your business and your brand. So you want to run some ads that are driving traffic to your website or to your landing page where people are just consuming content. They're learning about you. They're learning what you can teach them, and you're becoming an authority on whatever topic you talk about. Then in the background, you're building a custom audience of the people who went to that page. So when you're ready to start list building, or maybe you're running a webinar down the road, you can take that custom audience and run a new ad to just those people. So again, your budget is going to the people who only raised their hand and said, yes, I want to learn more about what you're offering. So you're not wasting budget on people who are just not interested. That's why retargeting is really, really powerful. It keeps it top of mind. Now, I do want to say that people put a lot of faith in Facebook ads to sell their product, and that is not the goal of Facebook ads. Facebook ads will drive leads into your business, but your funnel is what's going to really convert them. Facebook ads and retargeting ads are keeping it top of mind. It's saying, oh, I remember seeing an email from Laura about her, course or whatever. When they see an ad on their Facebook page, oh yeah, I remember, I need to go back to that. It's keeping it fresh in their minds. You're getting in front of their face again, because again, it takes a while for that relationship to build, especially if you're working with a cold audience.
Great explanation. Thank you so much. All right. What I want to dig into your brain about what are you doing right now that is really exciting you? Like, are there any new strategies that you've learned, whether it's with retargeting or custom audiences or I don't know, anything that you're just super excited about. I know it seems like every time I turn around, I'm learning a new tactic.
Yeah, Facebook, it's ongoing, and I think that's what frustrates people a lot about Facebook ads. There's always something new to try, but that's good. You're able to learn from different things. So if you are willing to invest some money in Facebook ads and take the time to test different things, a lot of the different things that I've been testing, lookalike audiences are doing really, really, really well for me. I go straight for that, and you can build lookalike audiences of people who visit your website, of buyers, people who've bought your course or product before, fans of your Facebook page. And what a lookalike audience is, it is based off of a seed audience. So whether that be your email list or website traffic, it will take that audience. Customers is killer for my latest client.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Yeah. So she had 300 buyers, which is a small amount, and I was a little hesitant to even test this, but it killed it. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. So yeah, a lookalike audience will take that seed audience and find new people that have similar attributes to the people who are in that seed audience. And I like to start with lookalikes if I have some data to work with the client, because it's not dead cold, like you're targeting people who like yoga or Gary V or, whatever. It's not dead cold. It's got a little bit more like juice to it, where it's finding those attributes of those people. So lookalikes are working really well.
Okay. A couple of things, but would you start with the lookalike? You'd start with the warm audience first, then lookalike, or no? You're going straight to lookalike?
No, it depends on the strategy. So if we're, if they don't have a list, and they don't have any warm audiences, I can't make a lookalike. So I'm working with dead cold people. So I'm working with
That's nice, Laura.
Yeah.
Dead cold. I mean, maybe you need another vocation.
Yeah, it's probably not a good phrase. Okay, so I'm working with a cold audience. But if we're list building and let's say they have a list, I don't want to run ads to their list because they're already on their list. But I can create then a lookalike audience of their list and run it. Now, if you're doing a webinar and you definitely want to target your list, your warm audience meaning your list, your Facebook fans, people who've, visited your website. You definitely want to run them, but you want to make sure you exclude any people who've already purchased from you so that you're not hitting the people who are already customers. So yes, the first start is, depending on the strategy, we start warm. Then I kind of move into lookalike audiences, and then I go to dead cold. then I go to cold audiences. So that's kind of the way. But again, it depends on the strategy and what we're doing. But when somebody comes to me and says they have an email list and they have lots of Facebook, I love that. That's because I have something to work with there.
Right. Well, I listened to Rick Mulready recently, and I know that you're a student of his. Mm-hmm. And I want to know if you've tried this tactic that he spoke about. And this was really surprising to me. So when we use lookalike audiences, I've always said, drag that little bar all the way over to the left, because it's going to give you a minimum audience usually of about 2 million people. So those 300 people you uploaded, if you scroll that little bar over to the left, it's going to be about 2 million people from those 300 for your lookalike. He said that they're having great luck lately dragging that a little more to the right. And I always thought that would make the audience less alike than it is if you just narrow it down more.
Yeah.
And he said that they're having a ton of luck. How do you do it? Do you do it all the way to the left, or have you tried it his way?
Yeah, I've tried it his way. So what you do is you make a 1% lookalike of, let's say, an email list. Then you make a 2% lookalike of an email list and exclude that 1%. So when you bring it into your ad set, you're saying, okay, target the people, target that 2% lookalike audience, but take out that 1% because I just want to get that other 1% of that 2% audience. Does that make sense?
No,
This is
well,
kind
it
of,
probably does, but say it again.
it's kind of,
Cause
yeah, so you're going to go wider, but you're going to exclude that first 1%. So you're not
how
over.
do you do that? How do you exclude the first 1%?
So when you build the two audiences, so you'll make a lookalike, and you'll go to that, you'll stay to the right, you'll stay to the left, you'll go to the 1%. So you build that audience, then you create another lookalike audience, but scroll it to the right a little bit to make it 2%, make it bigger.
Okay.
And then, so now you have two lookalike audiences. So when you go into your ad set level to do your targeting area, you're going to pull in the custom audience for 2%. And then at the bottom underneath, there's a little exclude button, like where you would exclude, if you want to exclude your list or your buyers, you're going to exclude that 1%. So that you're not kind of like pulling in that kind of first bar of people. So you're just getting that. It's kind of like the high. I can't really. It's hard to explain. It's probably easier to show you, but you're getting that You're getting that 1% of that 2% audience, but not that first 1%. So you know what I'm saying? Like.
No, yes, I love it. I'm so excited. This is the kind of juicy stuff that I just love because how random, because you just feel like, all right, well, why don't I just scroll all the way to the left? Doesn't that do the exact same thing as opposed to excluding 1% when I go into exclusions? But it's like, well, I don't know. I guess not. Like it's working for them. And
it is. And I mean, you definitely have to test it. And one thing with testing and hearing what people are doing, you have to test it. It might not work for your audience because I tested it for my client and it did not work. The 1% did way better than the 2% with the excluded 1%. So, but again, it's a matter of testing. And a lot, I think that's the frustrating thing with Facebook ads. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to test. They just tell me what is going to get me people on my list. And I can't tell them that because we don't know. We have to test it. And so, it's kind of like a vicious cycle. But yeah, he had mentioned that. I tried that. It didn't work for my client, but it doesn't mean I won't try it for another client, or it doesn't mean I won't try it again, because what works one time might not work the second time. So you have to keep testing things.
So did you ever try doing a 2% audience without an exclusion?
Yes, I did. I did
how did that go?
No, not good. Not good. The 1% and the lookalike of buyers did the best for her audience. That was what did the best. So, I mean, it could be dependent on the seed audience. I mean, Rick Mulready probably has a nice big email list. So he's working off of a bigger seed audience. So the more people that you're giving to Facebook and saying, find me new people, the better quality lookalike they'll make. So if I go in and I try to build a lookalike of 100 people, you could try it, but it might not be a very good quality list. Like you might get the low hanging fruit. His seed audience is probably a lot bigger. So he's giving, more data to Facebook to work with.
Totally makes sense. And that is the thing. There are so many variables, and you just sort of have to check out every chink in the chain. As you go along. Okay. I have a couple of things I don't want to forget to ask you. So I got so excited the other day because Mari Smith reported that we could boost our scheduled live streams. And I have an upcoming launch and I was like, yes, I am so excited. This is perfect. And no, I don't have it. And I had a couple of other people I know who also have verified pages. And they were not able to do that. Do you know anything about that? Have you been able to do that?
Facebook is the king of rolling things out whenever they want. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different features that people have that other people do not have. For instance, I think you have it in your Facebook group where you can make announcements and, several different announcements. There's a new feature where you can make your Facebook page like a course where I forget the name. I think
with units and stuff. It's called you go into settings and change it to
social learning.
Social
learning. So there's a lot of things that Facebook roll out periodically, and they do it because they're doing it to test test it to see if people are responding well to it. And then they kind of slowly roll it out to other pages. So it's just like all of a sudden you can come onto Facebook and be able to boost in your group. And then some days you can't. It's just, there is no rhyme or reason that I know of. I just know that things kind of roll out periodically. So you gotta have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, that's so not my strong suit.
I know.
So I have a question also, or another question, and that is, what if you have a Facebook ad and it's going great? Everything is going great. And, let's say it's not your custom list. It's you're targeting all the people who follow Amy Porterfield, who are female, who are this age, who live in the United States. So that's you're targeting that group, and it's going great. And so for like 2 weeks, you're getting conversion. And it's a huge audience. And then all of a sudden, nothing, like crickets.
Yeah.
And you know that you haven't exhausted your audience because the audience is showing you, 500,000 people. What's up with that? And what do you do when that happens?
I generally will work on, I'll look at the stats and see if if I look at the numbers and have them tell me what to do. So if it's a big audience and the click-through rate is under 1%, and that's the click-through rate for the link, not click-through rate all. There's a lot of different numbers in there. That's telling me people aren't clicking on the ad. So that means maybe I need to freshen up the image. Maybe I need to freshen up the headline, change that out. Maybe I need to change the text a little bit in the ad copy to see if that kind of boosts it back up. The other thing you can do is duplicate the ad at the ad set and start it again, kind of give it a jump start, to see if it kind of moves back into the algorithm. You can maybe start with maybe $5 more to give it a little bit more, money to play with. So it's kind of cherry picking those people. So that tends to happen, but I try to look at the numbers and let them tell me what to do next. But it is frustrating, especially when it's a big audience. And as far as big, targeting the people like Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, don't forget you're also competing with everybody else who is targeting those pages. So sometimes we have to get a little creative on our targeting. If we're working with cold audiences, I feel like a ninja when I'm like working with a client on targeting, because I'm like, I want you to sit there and I want you to think about your ideal client. And I want you to think about what problem do they have? What issue are they struggling with? Like for me, people struggle with the Facebook pixel. So I know that's a problem. So I want to give them a quick win. I want to give them I want to solve that problem. So let's say I have a lead magnet on how to install your Facebook pixel. Well, where are they going to get that information? Okay, so yes, they're probably following Mari Smith and Amy Porterfield, but what other tools do they use in their business that might align with needing help with digital marketing and Facebook ads and things like that? Well, maybe they follow pages like Infusionsoft or Udemy or MailChimp or ConvertKit or, things like that. So those are tools that they use in their business every day. They might follow those pages. So you kind of have to think outside the box a little bit, because Facebook is like an auction. So you're competing against other people to get your ads seen. And a lot of these people are working with really big budgets. So, you have to kind of think outside the box a little bit, get a little creative with your targeting, before kind of going straight to the Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo people.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's very important to mention. And then also what's very frustrating to me is that there are people whose audience I desperately want to target, and they don't pop up.
Oh, I know.
For pages, and they don't pop up. And I just, and I will periodically go back in and see, like, are they there? Have they popped up yet?
Yeah. It's very, very frustrating. And, that's again, something that what Facebook hasn't indexed that page. Like you would think, and I think a lot of people think, well, either one, they think it's a conspiracy or two, they think, they don't understand that. They're like, well, Melanie Duncan, she has like, a gazillion fans. Why isn't her page targetable? It's not based on size. It's just how Facebook indexes those pages. And you just have to kind of wait. And now with the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, they are removing some targeting interest. So when you go into your ads manager, if you have a custom audience or a saved audience in there that's already built, you might have like a little message at the top of your screen that says, we've removed some targeting. You can go back in there and it will tell you which interests or Facebook pages they've pulled out and are no longer targetable. And again, I don't know why. Like there's one Facebook page that a friend uses. It's called the Middle Finger Project. And so they removed that. And it's not a bad, it's a digital marketing agency, I think. So it's just, that just happens to be their name. And they've removed that. So the only thing we can think of is that, they don't like middle finger or whatever, so they are getting it's getting a little bit harder to target those pages because they're pulling things out. And then some of the other ones are just not targetable. Rick Mulready's not targetable. I tried. Yeah. So it is what it is. So it's frustrating.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I remember reading with all this Cambridge Analytica stuff that I think this was announced right before the F8 conference, but I'm not positive. And they announced that they were getting rid of the partner audiences.
Yeah.
And so we can't target behaviors, which I used to always love to do, like buying behavior. So buys online products. And I haven't tried to do that in a while. I haven't launched an ad for that, but do you know if that's already gone completely? Because that always impresses people so much too. When you say, look, are you a real estate agent? You can target people who are planning to move.
Yeah.
You know, but that was part of that.
Over the next 6 months, they're going to be, it's still there for me now. And I think it does vary by ad account because I have a lot of, peers who live in the UK, and some of the things that I still have, they don't, and vice versa. So what Facebook has said is they are going to slowly start removing those, but at the moment, I can still target household income and things like that, but they are going to be removing that stuff. So again, it's getting a little bit, trickier. That's why it's super important to start working on a strategy with Facebook marketing to be seen and to grow your email list. Because once you have an email list, you can do so much. Once you have people who visit your website and you have those custom audiences, you can do so much with them. And again, it's warmer than targeting people who like, cats. It's people who've raised their hand and expressed interest, and you can build those lookalikes. And that's what Facebook wants us to move towards, is building those relationships with people. And by doing that, you have to be seen. You have to, have a strategy, post regularly, post to your Facebook page, run some ads, boost some posts, just be seen and start collecting that data in the back end. So, you can build a lookalike of people who've engaged with your page. You can build a lookalike of people who've engaged with, your Instagram page. So there's so many different opportunities. People who've watched videos, people who watched, 25% of your videos. The capabilities are amazing. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just go into Ads Manager and they're like, they don't know. They're so confused. But that's why I think for newbies, people who are just kind of getting out, learn the basics, find a mini course, find somebody to maybe help you, hire somebody for an hour to kind of do a training with you and show you the important things. Invest in it. If you want to be on Facebook, you have to invest in it. So
I couldn't agree more. Very good advice. And I hope they would never do anything like retroactively with the audiences that we have built. That would be really, really horrible. I just thought of that as you were talking. I'm like, wow, I've built some pretty stellar audiences based on video views and email lists that I've imported and lookalikes and all those things. Like, I hope they don't mess with that. Let me ask you this. When I duplicate an ad, because I always duplicate my ads from the ad set level. And then the only thing that I change is who I'm targeting. Mm-hmm. So I leave the budget the same. I leave the country and the age and all those demographics the same. But whoever I'm targeting or whatever I'm targeting, I just change that. And I might duplicate it like 20 times. And then I just keep a hawk eye on those ads and turn off the ones that aren't working and then put more budget behind the ones that are. That's always been sort of my MO. Mm-hmm. And so I never split test creatives unless I just start completely from scratch with a new campaign, because I don't really know how to do that. So I don't want to get too in the weeds and I don't want to lose all of our listeners right now, but But I am curious, like, is that how you also do it? Or do you split test from the creative end?
So there's it's so funny you said that because I'm in a Facebook ad coaching program and I think it's personal preference. And I think it also depends on the client that I'm working with. If the client has no idea who to target and we need to find where they are, then I might start with duplicating ad sets and testing the audiences first. So I'll work with one image and one ad copy and the same headline. So everything's the same. But for my pet photographer, I might test because I've worked with her before. I kind of know what audiences are working. Then I'll test images because again, she's a photographer. And so her images are awesome. And so I'll test different images and see if one image is getting more traction than the other. So it really does depend. And when you do test, whatever way you go, just make sure you're doing the way you're doing it is you're testing one thing at a time and you're not making a change to the audience and then also changing the headline because then you're never going to know what was the factor that what made it better or worse. Was it the headline or was it, the audience? So it really does depend.
With the standard graphic sort of ad, when there's text above it, I've always heard really two very different ideas on the copy. That I've seen some people say you should write basically a blog post with all the information up above. I mean, it's going to get cut off anyway, but when people click in, they should be able to see all the information. And then I've heard other people say, no, just a few sentences is enough. What are your thoughts on that?
I go back to testing it both, but I think from the way I was taught, the way I learned is that if you're working with a cold audience of people who don't know you, longer text seems to convert better because they're on Facebook and they have all this information, this long copy. So they're getting to know you a little bit better because they're like, oh, look at this image. Who is this person? So they're reading all of that great content. And then you're sending them to a landing page where they're just opting in. But if it's a warm audience of people who already know you, they recognize you in the newsfeed, then shorter copy can work better because they don't need to be sold. They already know you. They already have a relationship with you. So it kind of depends. But if if you're just kind of starting out, you might want to test. I tend to prefer short copy because I don't have time for reading all those blog posts. But, and again, it depends on the person. But, if you're working with, my first response would be test both and run it for 3 days and spend, $5 a day on each of those and see which one performs better. And then my second thing is, okay, well, do you have a cold audience or a warm audience? If it's cold and you don't have the budget to test, length, cold audience go with a longer format text and a warm audience go with a shorter text.
Love it. Okay. This is pretty much my last question, unless something else pops into my head while you're talking. Because honestly, I mean, I don't know about you, but I could talk about Facebook ads all day long. Okay. So business manager. Okay. I have not, well, first of all, I don't really do Facebook ads for clients. I teach Facebook ads, but I don't go in and do Facebook ads for clients. So I haven't really felt the need for a business manager. So I've been afraid because, whenever I hear one horror story and there's so much at stake with Facebook and my business that I'm like so afraid of something bad happening, And so I have not made the switch, but I recently saw something John Loomer said, or I don't know if it was a webinar. I don't remember, but I know it came out of his mouth and it was basically like it's a no brainer and you should already be on business. You should have business manager by now. Like it's no big deal. It's a great thing and you should do it. And I think, yeah. So what do you think about business manager? Are you using it?
I am. Yes. I'm using business manager and I resisted and I fought it. And the only reason why I'm using it is because I have clients and it takes the noise out of, because again, once you start adding pages to your personal or to your page, like that you become friends with someone and then they add you as an admin on their page, you start seeing all of their notifications and that just drives me up a wall. So the beauty of business manager is that you don't see that. It's you go into Business Manager. When you log into Facebook as an ads manager, I'm in there every day. So I log straight into Business Manager. I don't see any notifications. I mean, there'll be a little like bell at the top, but I don't look at them because it's all my client stuff. And I don't really need to see, somebody's liking a page or liking the ad. I don't need to really keep an eye on that. If it's just yourself, I'm not, they say Facebook wants you to have Business Manager. I don't agree. I mean, I think if it's just you, I don't think you need to. As long as you just kind of go into your settings and you can hide the notifications from those people, those pages that you're admin on, it doesn't bother me. I don't think yes, it's not as complicated as people think. And yes, it's kind of clunky when you're trying to get somebody to either add you into their Business Manager or you're trying to pull them into your Business Manager. It's kind of a pain in the neck because the average business owner or entrepreneur doesn't understand Business Manager. They're like, I don't know where to go and blah, blah, So if you're not working with clients, I don't see the need for it, but that's my personal opinion.
I'm like, yay, I don't need to do it now because Laura said I don't have to. So that was great. But then as you were talking, I just remembered another incentive for me to do it is that, there's somebody who I'm an affiliate for once a year, sometimes twice a year. And if they will, they track your Facebook ads. You can only advertise with them if you have Business Manager, basically. And because I don't understand how Business Manager works, I don't really get it. Like, I don't really even know what I'm saying right now. I just know that there was something to do with like ads and this campaign and I'm missing out. And I was like, so like, I guess they could track conversions, right? Because as an affiliate, I get a percentage of the sales. So they could track the conversions if I was in Business Manager. So that was a requirement.
I think that has to do with sharing their pixel, but now with everything that's going on with the data breach, I want to say I vaguely remember like they're not going to be allowing people to do that. So, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know, but for for someone like you, if that is the case, then yeah, you can move over into Business Manager and I can walk you through that. It's not you'll get it. I mean, it's not that hard to do. And the beauty of it is once you do have Business Manager, you can still go in the regular way. Like those don't disappear. It's not like you lose everything in the other part. So you can still go in that way as well. But yeah, that might be the case or might have been the case, but I don't know enough about it to speak about it.
That was super helpful. And I feel a lot better about it. So thank you very much. All right, Laura, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I would love for our listeners to be able to find you and learn more from you because you are just a wealth of information and not to mention like super nice. So people need to get to know Laura Ball. If you don't already know Laura, where can people find you?
Yeah, they can go to my website, lauraball.co, C-O. And I have a Facebook group, Facebook ad community for infopreneurs. So you can find my Facebook group right from my website though. But yeah, like my page, shoot me a message. If you have any questions, feel free to just, send me a message. I'm happy to answer them for you.
And I'll put all the links down below in the show notes. So we'll be cool. Laura, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Jen. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for joining me today. And you'll find all of Laura's links and transcripts of this episode at jenlehner.com/14. And you need to spell that out. FOURTEEN. So jenlehner.com/14. And also, did you know that I do Alexa Flash Briefings Monday through Friday? If you add the Front Row Entrepreneur Flash Briefing to your Alexa skills, and in fact, you could just tell Alexa, hey, Alexa, add the Front Row Entrepreneur Flash Briefing, and it will. And the next time you tell Alexa to play your flash briefings, you'll hear a really short 3 to 4 minute update from me with all the latest news in online marketing and social media. See you next time.